Hey everyone, I am back yet again, and today's message, I want to go back to my favorite topic, all about relationships. Before I dive into it today, I guess I should say, why is it that I love relationships? And it's really because I feel that we're all here to love and be loved at the end of the day. And what can bring us down the most, or on the flip side, propel us forward at our highest capacity, is oftentimes the people that we surround ourselves with. And in particular, who you select to be in an intimate relationship with you can absolutely make you or break you in so many ways. So if you think back to whether you're in a relationship now or you've previously been in a relationship, if you think about when things were going amazingly well in that relationship, think about that state of being. Think about how you could have done anything. You felt like, the world is your oyster and, life is absolutely great. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, doesn't even faze you, right? When you're in love and you've got everything going amazingly well in that relationship. And on the flip side of that, when the opposite is true and when, things are terrible in your relationship, maybe you just had a huge fight or whatever, everything becomes a reactive process for you and everything annoys you and upsets you. So that's one of the major reasons I love putting this focus back onto our intimate relationships. And so that's why I just felt called to kind of share why the hell it is that I'm always saying that relationships is just like my favorite topic, because I feel like it has such a powerful impact and influence on us as individuals to reach our highest potential and do great work in the world. So that all being said, I want to talk to you guys about this particular topic today because I've been doing some coaching with an amazing coach in my life. So much love and shouting out to him. But really, today's topic is about when you rely on your partner for love, you end up projecting onto them hate. And I want to talk about this because I think it is, it's very simple, what I'm going to be talking into with you guys today, but it's so missed and it's so undervalued. And it's because we oftentimes, project this meaning of what love is and what our intimate relationship should look like. And it definitely can stunt our growth and make us very judgmental of ourselves, of our partner, of the whole relationship, and we can be throwing out relationships that they really don't need to be thrown out, and they just need a bit of attention and they need a bit of understanding. So what I mean by what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today is, when we are relying on somebody outside of ourselves, to feel the sense of love, which is oftentimes why we crave an intimate relationship. If we have to have an intimate relationship and that's the thing that we think is going to save us, oftentimes we get a rude awakening when we're in that relationship because we don't get the love that we're expecting from that person. And what ends up happening is we end up projecting hate onto them. And it's really got nothing to do with them. And it's oftentimes got everything to do with how we're not taking care of ourselves. So that's really what happens. So we don't ever want to rely on somebody else to fulfill within us something that we can only truly fulfill for ourselves. I've done lots and lots of posts on this, lots and lots of Facebook Lives on these sort of topics. And at the end of the day, as you guys know, how you feel within yourself is ultimately, how you're going to experience your partner in your relationship. And so if you're not fulfilling the love that you need to experience as an individual, you're going to go into your intimate relationship and you're going to be craving that and desiring that need to be fulfilled by another person. Now, what kind of tends to happen is we end up attracting our reciprocal. So we end up attracting somebody who's just trying to seek that exact same thing from us. And so you can imagine the dynamic that's at play at this point, where two needy people are in relationship with one another, trying to get the love that they can't give to themselves from the other person, but they're both depleted. They're both running on empty, right? But they're trying to get something from a person who just can't give it to them, and is too busy trying to get that same thing from the other person, right? So it's a recipe for disaster in our relationship. And what ends up happening is, as a result, we end up hating on that person because they're not giving us what we need, right? And we're expecting them to. And so what ends up happening is we end up killing our relationships. We end up going from those total extremes of elation and obsession and jealousy and, wanting that ownership, right, of this other person, to straight over to the other side and hate and, just like despising them and, wanting to run away or wanting to get them back, right? And we just go from one extreme to the other because we're totally unaware that we're out of balance. Because if you look at any of the ways that, relationships are really depicted in society and movies and all that stuff, like, we are trained to perceive an intimate relationship as being this huge romance and it's all positive and then it's all painful, and we're playing that out in our everyday relationships because we don't have any other kind of model to model off, right? We don't have any better, deeper understanding of the dynamic at play unless you start studying this stuff, or you run into some big challenges in your relationships and maybe you start seeing a psychologist or a coach or something, and you start educating yourself on, what's going on in that dynamic and taking responsibility for it and getting out of the fantasy that we can end up creating about what that should look like, and actually realize that everything in life is about bringing you into balance. And when you are experiencing the extremes, the roller coaster of intimate relationship as it can be, then what that is here to do is alert you to the fact that, you're relying on this other person as your source of love, and you're expecting them to show up and give you a certain need met. And what happens is they're not going to fulfill on that because you've attracted somebody who's just seeking the exact same from you. And until you two realize the dynamic and you do your own work and you take 100% responsibility and ownership over you feeling like a lovable, worthy human being just in your own self, only then can you come to your relationship dynamic and really create real depth, and that's where all the juiciness in your intimate relationship is. When it's not two victims, fighting over this scarcity of love that we perceive is available, but it's then an abundance of love because we're enriched from within and we're coming together into that intimate connection, and we're, overflowing. We're not having our tanks empty and just trying to grab whatever little piece of fuel we can from the other person who's totally depleted, and then projecting hate on them because they can't give us what we need. And that's the whole purpose of relationship, right? So just remind ourselves, this is that message to remind ourselves, that's not, that picture of what we thought love should be. It's not that at all. And what it truly, truly is a place where we are meant to have our challenges. Love is equal contribution of both support and challenge. And your relationship is your vehicle for growth, right? And, you're not going to have growth unless there's a bit of challenge and there's, and we're walking into our relationships and we're fully armored. We've got our total armor on, and we're going to butt up against each other at times, right? And we're going to be scared to take away a piece of that armor because it's going to feel so vulnerable, like that person could get in. But I love, love, love what Tony Robbins says, which is the wall that you build to protect you is also the wall that imprisons you. And that's what our armor is in our relationships. When we have all these expectations as to how that person is supposed to give us love, and when they can't do that because of course they're coated in their own armor, protecting their own empty tank, then we project hate onto them and we get into a war, and we just end up so drained and depleted because we've got the whole wrong concept around what our intimate relationship is. And the best quality of intimate relationship is when you both see that this is an environment that you're both actively and consciously engaging in to allow your vulnerabilities to come up, all those patterns, all those hurts, all those traumas, all those wounds. And instead of expecting another person to give to you something that only you can truly give to yourself, you're here to support that other individual on their journey and remind them, of their greatness and of their ability to, go deep and love who they are and go on that journey. And of course, we're here to support and encourage each other in great ways. We're also here to challenge each other. And that's why we end up oftentimes attracting a partner who pushes all the right buttons, right? They feel like the complete wrong buttons, and we feel like, no way, we want to get away from this person. But actually, if you take a meta perspective on the dynamic, you will realize that everything and everyone and every challenge is actually here perfectly to support you in the areas in which you totally need to grow. So I really hope that me talking into this is of value to you guys, and it definitely makes sense and it definitely resonates with you. And it just gets you thinking in just a new paradigm of relationship and what that vehicle is all about. It's not just all about support, and it's not just about getting your own needs met when you're not fulfilling on those needs for yourself. I put a post out today, I really do believe that the greatest gift that you can ever hope to give to anybody that you love and care about is really you owning and healing of your own wounds, right? You taking ownership of your relationship with yourself and building that, doing whatever you need to do as an individual to build that and build a great quality of relationship with yourself, because otherwise you're going to be totally needy. You're going to be trying to get something that you're never going to be able to sustainably get in your external world. It's always going to be short-lived, and anybody giving you what you think you want in that external world, it's, as I said, not going to be sustainable, and it's never going to be good enough, right? So just remind yourself that even when you feel called to give people what they want, but it's, you can see that they've really got their own growth work to do. I've experienced this, in my own relationships where I've had to stop being the person that wanted to just be loved, and I had to be willing to be hated so that I could actually give this person an opportunity to see, actually, like, I have to be the one to give that to myself, and then I can come to the relationship and I can overflow, and then I can get challenged again, and I can work out where that new pathway of growth is, and then we can support each other on that journey, and we can continuously up level, so I love talking about this, as you can probably tell. So I would love to hear from you guys. Have you got any words of wisdom or experience or any questions, anything that you'd like to contribute to today's conversation? I absolutely love getting to connect with you guys, or just say hi. Let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. I always love that. And I also want to say a huge shout out and thank you to all of you who have reached out to me personally over the last couple of weeks in particular, but even just overnight from my Facebook Live that I did yesterday, and you're reaching out to me and you're supporting me and encouraging me, and I cannot tell you how grateful and heart-touching that is, and how grateful I am, and how heart-touching that is for me to have your support, because it is a bit of a journey, the one in which I'm embarking on right now. And thank you for sharing your own stories. It takes a lot of courage to share so openly and vulnerably about what has happened to you, in particular because the things that we're ashamed of, we tend to guard ourselves and guard the whole world from. But that's where your beauty is. That's where your strength is. That's where your courage is. So, I'm just grateful that if me stepping up and speaking out about certain things at times, does encourage you to reach out and share. That is such an empowered journey, and I'm super proud of each and every one of you guys who go down that path. You know, don't shy away from what you fear. It's in your fears that actually give you the pathway to your potential, all right? And everything that's meaningful in your life, all right? So please don't stop being you guys and sharing. And any way that I can ever support you guys, please always reach out to me. And I want to check in with you guys right now. So who have I got? Who's been able to join me today? I have got Alex, awesome, and I've got Judy and Sonula and Joe and Ellen. And good morning to you, Ellen, or good evening my time. Love having you here as always. And Jerry's back. Awesome. Hi, Vanessa from work. I salute you and everyone. In my thoughts, the best relationships come from two best friends making one. I love that, Jerry. Absolutely. You've got to have that great connection. And then, again, Tony Robbins quote here, but he's got so much wisdom, that guy, and he says it so simply and precisely that I'm just constantly find myself quoting him. But the only difference between a friendship and an intimate relationship is the intimacy, right? So that's where a lot of challenges come into play. They have a great friendship, but they've lost the polarity. They've lost the play on the differences that are going on in that relationship that create the attraction. So absolutely, we need both, don't we? I love that, Jerry. And Donna, loving you being here, beautiful, and loving that you're loving it. And much love to you, Justin. Thanks for being here. And Michelle, perfect, babe. If you can't love yourself, then you can't love someone else, because you don't truly know what life is. Absolutely. All love is, or life is, absolutely. That's it. What I've noticed is it's kind of like the chicken before the egg, the chicken or the egg, which comes first, right? And on my own personal journey, it's been a combination. It's been like I'm working on myself and I'm up-leveling my relationship with my own self and up-leveling how I feel about myself and that love for myself. And then in relationship, I can take it to another level, and then it's like another level in myself, and then I get that support in relationship. And it's not just your intimate relationship, but in your friendships and your family relationships, with my coaches, people that are supporting you in your growth. And so it's kind of this mix between, our own individual work and also getting that support and in those healthy environments in our dynamics as well. So, and the challenges, that don't feel good, but they give us a chance and an opportunity to level up. So I love that, Michelle. Thanks so much for being here and sharing your beautiful words of wisdom. So appreciated. And Susie is here as well. And I know, Michelle, the predictive test. I got it. I was picking up what you were putting down. So awesome. I really hope today's message has resonated with you guys, and it just makes you think that when you're relying on a partner for love, you end up projecting onto them hate. That's why we have those big fights, the big ups and downs, the elation and the obsession and the jealousy, and then we're totally in the pits and we hate them and we can't stand them, or we're disgusted by them or whatever, right? It's because you're over relying on them to fulfill a void within yourself that only you can truly fulfill. So use those dynamics to not judge and condemn yourself, but to just go, I see this pattern at play. This is my thing, right? Personally in a relationship that I've been in, my pattern was this person's trying to control me, right? And I can see this pattern play out in all my previous relationships. I don't want to be controlled, right? I don't want somebody to control me. And it just so happened that the person in relationship with me had a challenge with feeling like, so I was thinking men are going to control me, and he was thinking, women are going to manipulate me, right? So can you imagine that dynamic? That dynamic where, he would feel like I might be lying to him or something and feel like I was trying to manipulate him. And then him coming to me and sharing that, I felt like he was trying to control me. And so you can see the dynamic that can be at play when we're unconscious. But when you understand, what relationship is here to do, it's shining light on the work that you need to do for yourself. Anytime you're triggered, it's not about them, it's about you, right? When you understand that, you can actually take full responsibility for your patterns. And then when you're in that dynamic, it no longer becomes a personal attack from, two victims fighting over who has the biggest victim story. It then becomes two conscious individuals who are able to have a higher level conversation about the dynamic at play. This third entity that is the relationship. And that's when you get to create something truly extraordinary. So hope that this has resonated, and Isaiah is here as well, and Mahinda, loving that this is good. Awesome. So guys, I could talk all day, all night about this topic, as you guys you're probably aware by now, but really hope this has served you. And thank you so much to each and every one of you guys who have been able to join me live and contribute to the conversation. You're so appreciated. And as always, I'm sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I really do hope that it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary, that you're doing something super empowering, and today's message has absolutely served you. Again, thank you so much, guys, for showing up live. I know I do this so randomly, so it's always a surprise who can join me, and hope this has absolutely served you. Sending you all of my love, and I cannot wait to see you tomorrow.